G'day everyone and welcome to another Friday session here for the Male Hugs Talktober, and with thanks to Conscious Conversations as well. Hope you're enjoying your Talktober. We're a couple of weeks into it now and been making our call every day to a mate throughout the month of October, making me feel better, making you feel better, making our mates feel better. That's what it's all about. Having a conversation with our friends and just reconnecting once more. Conscious Conversations, and we say g'day to Maritza again, who's going to help us host another fantastic Friday session. Hey, Maritza.
Hi, Tony. Always a pleasure. How are you doing?
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. And we've got a great guest today. We talk about the male hug and we talk about Talktober and guys reconnecting and the like, but women are so important in our life as well and are very much a part of what we're trying to achieve through Talktober in regards to just, talking to men and getting men to talk once more and talk more often. And we've got a lady on who's, I tell you what, she's probably one of the strongest women you know. And I'm not talking about physically as if she can lift 150 kilos above her head, but what she's been able to do mentally through her swimming in regards to swimming the English Channel and so many other long distance feats is just an amazing effort. And she comes to us with a story also about how Talktober is an effect in her family as well. Tammy van Wisse joins us. Hello, Tammy.
Hello, Tony. Great to see you.
Great to see you again too. Thank you for coming on board with Talktober as an ambassador this year. It's been great to have you as a part of it and speak to us from the female side of men not talking. As I said in the intro there, this is something that's close to your family, isn't it?
Absolutely, Tony. Really noticed. My husband, I encourage him to call his mates, and luckily for me, he actually is quite social and does that. But we've been heavily affected. We know lots of people that have been struggling, lots of male friends that have been struggling, and it's something that we're all dealing with, having been in lockdown for such a long period of time as well. It's really it made us realize how important having connections are. And I know I've been through it too. My mum has Alzheimer's and she's I'm not able to see her, so it really affected me last lockdown, not being able to visit. And my husband would say to me, he was a great support, but having connection with other people and just being able to chat about it just really gets things off your chest, and it's amazing how much better you feel. So Talktober is just so important, and I think just highlighting to everyone, males and females, although the females are better at connecting and having a chat, but it's so important for men to be able to do that, especially during this time. I think it's even more important.
I think you're right, Tammy. We are natural communicators as women, and it tends to come very easily to us to be able to open up and share ourselves and feel vulnerable. And for men, it's so much harder to do that. And that's completely okay. But in your experience and in your, in the time that you've spent with men who might be struggling, what is a good way that you've helped support them to, take that first step to open up?
Well, I guess it's just really sincerely asking, how are you going? Are you okay? Because, sometimes we say these things, but we don't say them with meaning. We don't delve just that little bit deeper. And sometimes it takes a little bit more prompting to sort of start that conversation and find out exactly what's going on underneath the surface. Because as I said, we're all conditioned, someone says, how are you going? And you go, yeah, good. But, when you delve that little bit deeper and say, so how have you been coping during lockdown, or, what's going on with you at the moment? So you start to just ask a few more questions to find out exactly what's been going on. And then you'll find conversations start and people tend to open up a little bit more. And again, you take your lead from there to find out how they're going and just offer the support that you can. I think just saying, hey, do you know what? I totally understand what you're going through. And if I can be here for you at any point in time, I am, and call me anytime. And it's funny, once you start that dialogue going and they go, oh, it wasn't so bad to talk to someone, and I actually feel better after getting that off my chest, you find that they open up easier next time, and you do tend to get calls. So I think that's one really great way that we can support our male friends in our life, whether they be partners, husbands, family, is actually take the time to ask a few more questions and not gloss over like just the how are you going. So that's what I found has been really helpful.
I think throughout all these Friday sessions that we've had on, we've always talked about that first step being the hardest step to make when you're starting a conversation, or even being on the other side of that and sharing a part of yourself openly. So yeah, I totally agree with you, is that first step can be critical in making change and seeing some growth there, I suppose.
Oh, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And I think being relatable too. I think if you open up too, then it helps somebody else to open up. So, our mindset, our perception of things is that, we often think that everybody else is doing okay and that we're the only one, and we feel isolated. And that's why we don't feel like sharing, because we don't want to burden others. And there's often a bit of a stigma too there, that you think, well, it's just me that's feeling this way. So I think being able to share your own sort of downs and highs and lows and how you cope also helps to open up that conversation, and then it normalizes us all and how we're feeling, and opening up about things that are going on in our lives. So that's what I've found is really helpful to support someone also that's struggling.
Absolutely. Normalizing it is really key. There's a lot of us out here struggling right now, and it's absolutely fine to come out and share it with people around you. Now, someone who has smashed so many world records, there's got to be a level of mindset that goes with that is so unique. We can't leave this conversation without asking you to share, what you use and what you can take from your career that will help us during these dark times that we are facing now and potentially in the future.
So one of the key things, and actually going through lockdowns and COVID actually reminds me of being in a marathon swim, because you are literally in the water, and although you have a support team around you, you are very isolated. You can't see anyone really, because you've got the goggles on and you're looking down most of the time, earplugs in. So really all your senses are taken away, and you're in your head a lot. So for me, and obviously they take a long time. So lockdown has been a lot like that for me. So when I'm swimming, a couple of the strategies that I use to help keep me going is, firstly, I listen to a lot of music before I do a swim, and I have songs in my head that sort of I listen to. I can switch on that CD player in my mind when I'm feeling down, and I usually find that the songs help keep me going. And music is one of those wonderful things that we have in our lives, and everybody has different tastes in music, but it's really important to connect with something that you really enjoy, and that I guess changes your mood, because really it's all about our mood and our perception of things. And perception's another thing that I'm going to talk about, because quite often during swims, I go through very high moments and very low moments where I feel like I'm exhausted and I can't keep going. And one of the tricks that I use is to block out the negative self-talk, because it's really like I feel like I have a battle going on in my mind when I'm swimming. And when you're energetic and you start a swim, your adrenaline's pumping and you can keep that positive mentality going a lot easier. But as you get more exhausted and tired, it's a bigger battle. It turns into a raging war, in fact, where the body's trying to justify why you're doing this to the mind, and it's saying, just get out, this is terrible, you shouldn't be putting yourself through this, every excuse. And we all have that, when you're stuck in the middle of a big challenge, or you're working on something and you're finding it tough, the mind tends to head to the negative self-talk straight away. So for me, one of the key things that I do is I change my perception. I almost try and take a step out of myself and have a look at the situation, almost like a bystander, and have a look at the good parts and the bad parts. And so, for instance, when I was swimming across Bass Strait, I'd been going for about, I think it was about 12 or 13 hours nonstop swimming, and it had been a pretty horrendous crossing. During the evening, I'd been swimming 3 to 4 meter swells, been stung by jellyfish, and I was really exhausted and tired. And I broke down and I started to cry during one of my feeds. The crew were beside me, and they feed me sustenance every half hour. And I honestly thought I couldn't keep going. And it was one of those moments when I really had to step outside myself and reassess the situation, try and change my perception. And I asked them, I looked up and I saw land. Actually, I could see Victoria not far away. And I thought, oh, great, there's land. I'm nearly there. But distances are very perceptive when you're deceptive when you're at water level. And so I said to my support crew, how far have I got to go? And they came back and they said to me, well, worst case scenario, you've got 6 hours left of swimming. And at that point, that was just like being punched in the face, because I was having trouble concentrating on the next 6 minutes, let alone the next 6 hours. So I reassessed and I thought to myself, all right, 6 hours. What's 6 hours left out of a whole lifetime to put up with a bit of pain to achieve something that, you know, you've been working for the last 12 months? So it's about turning situations around. There's always a positive that you can take out of any situation. Sure, it might only be small, but it's that shift in our mindset that really gets us going again. And I was able to start swimming again, and then sort of setting myself very small goals to keep moving towards the finish line. So I think perception is such an important part of our lives. You can look at any situation and you can always find negatives and whinge and complain about something. But do you know what? You can also shift that around. And most of our life is all about perception. You know, the positives and the negatives and how you approach things is all about your mindset and how you look at things.
You know, I've had a chat to my kids about that. Don't focus on the negative, son. Do the dishes, focus on the positives. We know what it's about. Tammy, thank you so much, as we said, for being a part of Talktober. It's really been great to get a women's perspective on what men need to do throughout this period of time. And as you said, we are all struggling. So we encourage men, we encourage women, we encourage everyone to make a call every day for the remainder of Talktober and reconnect with your friends. Thank you, Tammy. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks so much, Tony. Thanks, Maritza.
Good on you, Maritza. Thank you again. And thank you, Conscious Conversations, for being a part of our Friday sessions here during Talktober.